Welcome to Animal DNA, our extraordinary expedition through the animal kingdom. We'll explore the unique traits and characteristics of animals of all kinds, how species relate to one another, and ways in which they survive and thrive in their diverse environments around the planet. And so our journey begins. Today, we'll explore the differences between swans, ducks, and geese. We'll also take a closer look at other feathered creatures like pigeons, ostriches, and more. Let's get started. Birds can live in various ecosystems, from land to water habitats. They're a diverse group of animals, though some kinds of birds are more similar than others. The similarities between ducks, geese, and swans can sometimes lead to some confusion. All three of these birds belong to the order Anseriformes and the family Anatidae. Swans, ducks, and geese all live around bodies of water, hence why they are all referred to as waterfowl. However, each group has anatomical features that differentiate them. Size is the main factor in differentiating these water-loving birds. Of the three, swans are the largest, geese are the second largest, and ducks are the smallest. Another defining characteristic can be found in their necks. Swans have the longest necks, geese the second longest, and ducks once again bring up the rear with the shortest. Let's dig a little deeper and look more closely at each bird, starting with geese. Geese belong to the subfamily Anseriformes and the genus Anser. They are generally large, migratory birds, the largest and most robust of them being the Anser or gray-lag goose. These birds can weigh about 10 pounds and measure up to nearly 6 feet if you include their long wingspan. The color of geese varies by species. They can be white, gray, brown, black, or a mix of these colors. Their beaks are large, usually orange, as are their legs. Although there are exceptions to the legs. Like other waterfowl, their feet are adapted to life on the water. Their webbed toes make them capable paddlers. Geese inhabit most of Europe, Asia, North America, and North Africa. They are sociable birds who can commonly be found in a flock, called a gaggle. These birds of a feather are known to flock together. Canadian geese, along with some ducks and other waterfowl, fly in a V formation with their migratory companions. Geese are territorial animals who will aggressively defend their space by emitting thunderous squawks, biting, and flapping their wings. Though some domesticated geese can behave in a bit more friendly manner. Geese are monogamous and mate for life. Gray-lag geese usually nest on the ground near the bodies of water where they live, and in spots where they have good access to food and visibility to help them detect predators. And while they nest in groups, they establish a clear distance between them. They lay around 6 eggs at a time and can only reproduce once a year. The eggs are incubated by the female, though the male partner remains nearby. Geese are grazing herbivores that can consume plants, roots, and shoots, both in and out of the water. The smallest of the waterfowl, ducks, are generally classified into 3 groups. The common ducks belong to the subfamily Anatidae. Some of the best-known species are the mallard, the domestic duck or domestic mallard, the mandarin duck, the muscovy duck, the bronze-winged duck, and the black and red bead-eyed southern pochard. Whistlers belong to the subfamily Dendrocygnae, and some species are the West Indian whistling duck, black-bellied whistling duck, and the lesser whistling duck. Divers belong to the subfamily Oxyurinae, and they include species such as the musk duck, the black-headed duck, and masked duck. A great variety of coloration can be found in duck plumage. Some species have feathers of one or two colors, but there are many with a combination of several colors. As we mentioned, ducks are distinguishable from geese and swans by being the smallest of the three birds, with shorter wings, necks, and more robust bodies. Males and females have drastically different traits, like different coloring, which makes it easy to tell them apart. Ducks generally don't weigh more than about 13 pounds, and their wingspan doesn't exceed about 32 inches in length. Like geese, they are birds adapted to swim and travel long distances. They can be found over all continents except the poles. This includes regions where they are not native, as they have been introduced anthropogenically, meaning by humans. Duck behavior varies by species. Some tend to live in pairs, while others live in small groups. Several species can be shy and territorial, while others allow some closeness. Ducks emit short, dry sounds, perceived as the famous quacking sound. They can live near bodies of water, on the ground, or even in nests built in trees. Some species lay up to 20 eggs, which are cared for by the mother, or sometimes both parents. Egg coloration may be cream, white, gray, or even greenish. Ducks feed mainly on plants, fruits, and seeds, although they may include insects, larvae, and crustaceans, depending on their species and environment. And now let's turn to the ever-graceful swans. These long-necked birds belong to the subfamily Anserininae and the genus Cygnus. The best-known species is the mute swan, which is the traditional white swan you probably picture when you think of this bird. Most swan species are white, but there is a black swan which can be found mostly in Australia. Swans can weigh between 13 and 33 pounds. They typically measure over about 3.5 feet long, and an adult wingspan can reach over 10 feet. Generally, males may be slightly larger than females. Depending on the species, their beaks can be red, orange, black, or combinations of these colors. As with other waterfowl, their toes are joined by a membrane that allows them to paddle efficiently through the water. Swans are found in various parts of the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Different species possess different behavioral characteristics. For instance, the black swan is generally a friendly bird, while on the contrary, white swans, like the mute swan, can be quite territorial. They generally express a variety of sounds, heard as whistles, snorts, grunts, or honks. Swans also keep one mate for life and build large nests, which can exceed 6 feet in length, on floating formations or near water. They may nest in small or large groups. Although the female usually incubates the eggs, the male may eventually replace her. Both the number and color of eggs can vary from species to species, with clutches ranging from 1 or 2 to 10 eggs. Swans consume aquatic plants, algae, and small animals such as frogs and insects. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll take a look at the famous winged city dwellers, pigeons. We'll be right back with more Animal DNA. Welcome back to Animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. How many species of pigeons exist? A, 1, B, 50, C, 100, D, more than 300. If you answered D, more than 300, you're right. Let's take a closer look at these birds that belong to the Columbidae family. Pigeons vary in size and weight according to species, but generally have robust bodies, heads, beaks, short legs, and various colorings. They have good maneuvering skills in flight and can be found everywhere on Earth except the planet's poles. Some pigeons are solitary, while others are sociable and number in large flocks. Some pigeons have become dependent on urban areas, which comes with downsides, like an increase in pathogen transmissibility and negative impacts on infrastructures. They're even sometimes referred to as flying city rats. Let's take a look at just a few of the 370 species of this interesting bird. The common pigeon, also known as the rock dove, is native to Africa, Asia, and Europe, but can now be found in cities around the world. They average around 14 inches long, weigh about 1 pound, and have a wingspan of about 25 inches. The typical coloration is gray with green, reddish, or purple tones on the chest and neck. There are 2 black bands on the wings and often a blue bar on the tail. This species is distributed throughout the world. They've developed a close relationship with humans through domestication, which has given rise to various breeds with different characteristics and colors. The ring-tailed pigeon is a relatively large pigeon from Jamaica, reaching lengths of just over 15 inches. Males are usually larger than females. The upper parts of the body are bluish-gray, the lower legs are pinkish-brown, and the region behind the neck is bluish-green. In addition, they have a black band on the upper part of the tail. This pigeon's population is also threatened. It has been classified as vulnerable. The purple quail dove has a distinctive purple coloration on the back of its body, often in violet iridescent tones. The wings are reddish-brown, the head and tail are dark, and the underparts are light gray. They can be found in Colombia and Ecuador in evergreen forests. The Granada dove is a robust bird measuring approximately 12 inches long. It has light coloration from the head to the abdominal region, with a white underside and a brown back. When flying, a cinnamon shade can be seen under the wings. As their name suggests, they are native to Grenada in the Lesser Antilles. They've adapted to live in coastal and wooded scrublands, though the loss of their habitat due to deforestation has made them critically endangered. The blue-eyed ground dove is a small pigeon species, measuring approximately 6 inches long, with reddish-brown to brown feathers, with a light or whitish throat area. Their wings have iridescent blue stripes, and their eyes have an intense blue coloration. This bird is native to Brazil, has terrestrial habitats, and can be found alone or in pairs, especially in grasslands. The intense transformation of their habitat leaves them critically endangered as well. The black-naped pheasant pigeon is one of the most beautiful pigeons because of its peculiar black. It is native to Papua New Guinea, where it lives in tropical forests that range from sea level to 6,200 feet above sea level. They are relatively large, measuring approximately 18 inches long. The tail, underside, and head are black, but with a violet tinge, while the wings are brown. This pigeon species is currently in danger of extinction. The gray imperial pigeon lives in various types of forests in the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. They measure about 15 inches long, and as their name suggests, they are colored in various shades of gray. And as with other pigeons, habitat modification and hunting have made these birds vulnerable to extinction. The cararoo, or New Zealand pigeon, is native to, you guessed it, New Zealand. It can be found on several islands and forests where fruit trees are in abundance. These birds are rather large for pigeons, measuring approximately 20 inches long. Their main characteristic is the colors of their plumage, which form a beautiful combination of white and green. They, too, are a threatened species. Clearly, many of these birds are at risk, in most cases due to human-caused factors. Coming up, we'll take a look at the largest bird on the planet, the ostrich. We'll be right back with more Animal DNA. Welcome back to Animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. Like the ostrich, which of these birds originated in Africa? A, the nandu. B, the emu. C, the gray-crowned crane. D, the cassowary. If you answered C, the gray-crowned crane, you're right. Now, let's turn our attention to the largest bird on the planet, the ostrich. Unlike the emu, ostriches have large wings, though they too are unable to fly. Their heads are tiny in relation to their bodies, but their necks and legs are long, and a claw can be found on each leg, which they use to nimbly defend themselves. They have only 3 toes on each foot, and feathers that only cover their solid midsections. There are 2 species of ostriches. The most common ostrich generally stands about 6 feet tall, but sometimes males grow larger. They can weigh from 200 to 300 pounds or more. The Somali ostrich has a smaller size and weight range, again with males being larger than females. Coloration is also similar in both species. Common ostrich males are black with white wingtips and tails. Females, on the other hand, are grayish-brown. As for the Somali species, males are also black with intense white on the tail and wings, while females are dark brown. The bare areas of Somali ostriches are more bluish-gray than their counterparts. All ostriches are land birds, and they can usually be found in flocks of 5 to 50 individuals. They are known to hang around herds of certain mammals, such as antelopes and zebras. During the non-breeding season, they generally live in an area that can cover up to 10 miles. Ostriches are very fond of water, to the point of bathing whenever they have the chance. These birds can reach high speeds, over 40 miles per hour. And although they can't fly, they use their wings to propel themselves forward and maintain their balance while running. They can be aggressive when defending themselves, and can lie flat with their necks on the ground as a way to hide from predators. It is probably this habit which led to the myth that they bury their heads in the sand when they are scared. Just a myth. Ostriches mainly consume plants such as herbs, flowers, fruits, and seeds. Though their diet can also include oddities like lobsters and carrion, left by predators in the area. Though ostriches love water, they can go for significant periods without drinking any. The common ostrich is native to Algeria, Angola, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, among others. Its habitat is savannas or grasslands and shrub forests, with tolerance to dry and sandy areas. The Somali ostrich is native to Somalia, as its name suggests, but can be found in Ethiopia, Kenya, and Djibouti. A communal nest, built by the male, will house between 15 and 60 eggs from several females. Parental care is alternated, with the male taking care of the nest at night and the females taking the day shift. And with that, our journey has come to an end. See you next time on Animal DNA, where we humans decode all the secrets of our friends in the animal kingdom to learn more about them and a little bit more about ourselves, too.